G'day guys and gal. Everyone loves killing. Some people are better at it than others. Originally this was going to be the top 5 assassins in Warhammer 40k, but it turns out that the Imperium kinda dominates the assassin game. And also there aren't many named reoccurring assassin characters. A, because assassins don't like to give out their ID and personal information, and B, assassins don't last very long because they're always pitted against named characters, and named characters in Warhammer are overpowered. In saying that though, there is plenty of awesomeness and sick moments to chat about when we talk about the Imperial Assassins, aka the Officio Assassinorum. After all, it was an assassin from these shadowy societies that killed a Primarch, the only non-Primarch or Emperor to pull that off. Today we'll talk about the origins of the Officio Assassinorum, as well as some of the things we have done. We will then cover each of the temporals or guilds of the Assassins of the Imperium, as well as go into their special skills, weapons and abilities, as well as some of their accomplishments, aka who have they sent to the Gulag, aka who they have Control-Alt-Deleted, aka who they have absolutely murdered. Let's get into it. The galaxy is full of two types of assholes, ones you tolerate and ones you don't. An imperial planetary governor who makes shitty stupid memes and occasionally performs autofellatio in public, tolerable. A planetary governor who sacrifices his children in order to summon a bunch of mischievous demons, not tolerable. Sometimes these intolerable assholes hide in holes that are hard to dig out of. After all, why send in millions of guardsmen and thousands of marines for one man when you can just send in the futuristic equivalent of Ezio Auditore? But I'm getting ahead of myself. How did the Officio Assassinorum, or the Stabby Wabbies from space, as they are now known to me due to Officio Assassinorum being a silly name, come into existence? Well, it was none other than our boy Malcador, who gathered a bunch of BDSM gimp suit wearing LARPers who are good at killing together and basically told them to create their own assassins guilds. He was more or less allowed them to perform as much heresy as they wanted during these assassinations, hence a lot of the assassins and what they do to clap their targets are actually pretty messed up. They were to operate outside the bounds of the Imperium, reporting only to Malcador, the Emperor and the Custodes, which was pretty much the same as the Emperor. However, despite how badass and awesome we were told the assassins were, none of them could kill Horus. There were dozens of attempts. Seriously, the only person who might have been able to match the assassination attempts on Horus was Hitler, except whilst Hitler survived most of his due to obscene plot armor, Horus was more or less unkillable. I mean, Fulgrim got shot in the eyeball by a high caliber Space Marine sniper rifle and he just walked it off. I can't imagine the assassins would have anything that they could get close to Horus that could put him down properly. They even put together a dream team of assassins for the mission, and it failed really badly. All of them died bar one, who failed numerous attempts on Horus's life before he was eventually corrupted by chaos, and instead tried to end up killing Nathaniel Garo. Well, trying to kill Nathaniel Garo is like trying to have a sword fight against a samurai whilst using your own cock as a katana. Sure, you might make the samurai uncomfortable, but you'll come off second best every time. Hence, the assassin died. Who knew creating brainwashed super assassins using heresy could backfire? Now, I did mention that one of these assassins killed Konrad Curze, but honestly it was more of an assisted suicide than anything. Konrad was a troubled man with a troubled childhood, to put it lightly. He was the biggest tryhard edgelord the galaxy had to offer, and on the day of his death, he said to his sons, the Night Lords, "Hello, my sons. Today, an assassin will come and kill me. So if you see some random bitch Naruto running at me, then just smile and wave." I can low-key imagine her doing a little hidden blade launch at Konrad, and then her stabbing him, and then him just surviving it. Then he'd be like, no, this is how you kill me. And then he'd demonstrate to her how to saw his own head off. Then after like 20 minutes of cutting through that thick Primarch neck, she'd be like, fuck, when she realized that now she had to drag this fat heavy Primarch head back to Terra. Lucky for her, or unlucky for her, she would never make it back to Terra, as some Night Lords who were sad about Daddy's death tracked her down and murdered the shit out of her. The Stabby Wabbies from space would fall even further from grace when Malcador died, as they were humans and all humans are susceptible to becoming assholes. Hence, shortly after the Horus Heresy ended, their leader decided it'd be funny to kill all the High Lords of Terra. To be fair, he did a pretty good job of leading the Imperium once they were dead, initially. But assassins aren't supposed to be galaxy-wide administrators, so eventually he had to be overthrown and killed by a solid Space Marine strike force. Things would go from bad to worse when George Van Dyer, that massive dick, rose to power nearly 500 years later. He used his power and the still lingering arsehole-ness of the stabby wabbies from space to get numerous political rivals killed. A civil war then broke out within the Assassin Temples, called the Wars of Vindication. This sounds serious, but it was actually pretty funny. One assassin killed the leader of the assassins, then took his place via shapeshifting. However, the leader knew this would happen, so he shapeshifted as well, and he used a shapeshifted body double to take the death instead. This escalated until the Imperial Palace was full of assassins trying to assassinate each other, using extremely overpowered weaponry, like they were letting off fucking nukes on each other within the palace. Bit of a testimony on how large the palace was that it could handle nukes going off inside of it. Eventually, the lead assassin was able to assassinate his traitor subordinates and restore order. Confused? Good, so am I. Let's continue. The Imperium at this point was like, maybe at this point having complete anonymous highly lethal assassins guild running around that don't report to anyone is a bad idea. Yeah, no shit. Hence, a new branch of the Inquisition was created to watch over the stabby wabbies from space, and all the hits had to be sanctioned by a committee. This system has been in place since the Age of Apostasy, and has worked out reasonably well so far, with no known hectic civil wars between assassins breaking out. So what does each temple do? First off, we have the Vindicare Temple, who seem like the most reasonable and realistic. They are snipers. Whilst all the other temples think pretty far out of the box and often end up just stabbing their target to death Hasashian style, the Vindicators will shoot you in the fucking head and call it a day. But this is Warhammer, and Warhammer isn't that reasonable. Hence most of the assassinations that the Vindicators perform are revenge killings. Call a High Lord a wet cloth who likes kindergartners too much? Boom bitch, you just got vindicated. The patience of the Vindicators is legendary. Often they will barely move for 2 weeks while lining up a perfect shot. One Vindicator even waited in the same position for 6 years to assassinate a problematic Dark Elder. Their patience is a result of the lack of their humanity. They form no emotional bonds and only know words that are related to assassination. Hence talking to one of these kinda would be like trying to chat with the low-functioning autistic equivalent of John Wick. They have a bullet for every situation. Either it be a shield-breaking round, which can go through warp-based force fields, a hellfire round, which upon entering you will cause you to instantly corrode, or a turbo penetrator round, which, while that does sound like a pretty fun time, definitely is not, as they can pass through almost every single bit of physical armor out there. Vindicators have stopped Orc wars, saved planets from demonic incursion, and turned back Elder craft worlds with only a single shot. There is no butt clenching or hesitation with these guys. The Vindicator that took out the Dark Elder after 6 years of waiting took that shot only half a second after the Elder teleported into his firing line. Next up we have the Calidus Temple, who are probably the most terrifying of all the assassins due to the fact that they are made up almost entirely of women. This temple specializes in close-up and personal assassinations, as well as shapeshifting. M'Shen, the assassin who killed Conrad, was one of these. Now, I'm not talking about just wearing a Mission Impossible styled mask that you just take off for dramatic effect. They have a special drug called polymorphine, which is literally a polyjuice potion but better. They can change their size, shape, gender, and even race. They can literally become orcs, elder, and even gene stealers, like bruh. One of the fucking psychos even used polymorphine to swallow a baby whole, and kidnapped it out of there via having it in her stomach in order to get the planetary governor to stop in an intolerable asshole. They obviously specialize in infiltration, getting close to their targets and then taking them out, then often impersonating them to help finish dismantling whatever operation they had. They also use special Necron-built swords called Catan Phase swords, unless you didn't already realize how heretical these bitches are. Kind of funny how Games Workshop made the Assassin Temple full of two-faced, manipulative, lying, backstabbing bitches an all-female one. After the Calidus Temple, we have the Eversor, English not good. Eversor Temple, who completely lack any form of subtlety and just more or less just high-budget berserkers. And Eversor is heavily modified, given an extra heart and a boosted immune system so they can deal with the hectic level of drugs pumped within him. You use an Eversor when you want the target and everything within a square kilometer to die. Because the drugs in them are so hectic, if an Eversor dies or their immune system and hearts get compromised, the drugs will overtake their bodies and explode like a plasma grenade, killing everyone in the area. Naturally, you can't just walk around with the equivalent of 2 tons of explosive meth coursing through your veins, hence between missions, an Eversaur is put into cryosleep and shot at their target like a rocket. Whilst their cryopod drops is on the way to its target, the Eversaur is defrosted, pumped full of drugs, and briefed on what they needed to do. Fortunately, the briefs are pretty short and often just entail, kill that son of a bitch. After the Eversaurs, we have the Culexus Temple, who I would say are the spiciest assassins, as they are all blanks, which means not only do they have no presence in the warp, but they are like a literal black hole which drains and fucks with psykers and warp-based beings. Unfortunately for blanks, not having a tangible soul means nobody likes you, as evident by our society's treatment of gingers. All valuable blanks that survive hectic trials either end up as Culexus assassins or as Sister of Silence. Whatever happens though, they are excellent at ruining a psyker's day. Due to the fact that too many blanks in one spot can actually fuck with the Astronomicon, aka the only thing holding humanity together, their temple is located on a distant hidden moon, whilst all the other temples are on Terra. The Elder absolutely hate the Culexus assassins, as they often get killed by them, and the idea of not having a soul really fucks with them. One Elder actually discovered their hidden moon base and was about to destroy it when he received a vision that showed that if he did destroy it, his craftworld would die. Ironic, but it does make sense. Craftworlds get massacred by demons and Tyranids quite often, so an assassin that can hurt the hive mind or banish a demon reasonably effectively would help prevent that. As blanks are 1 in a billion, and then blanks that can be trained into Culexus assassins are another 1 in a billion, there ain't many of these dudes and dudettes around, but that doesn't matter, it only takes one to fuck you up. After the Culexus Temple, we have the Venanum Temple, which, you guessed it, poisons people. Now, I'm sure GW intended these guys and gals to be really cool and intimidating and shit, but they're more so just a meme in my opinion. Like, one of them killed over 1,000 Democratic anti-Imperium committee members by lathering their chairs in poison over the course of 3 days, whilst another one was so OCD that when she poisons her victims, she times it so that the second that she re-enters her temple, they die. I can imagine this would make her pretty demonic with her timing. Like, imagine she's strutting to her temple and some dude tries to hit on her, she would legit just have to shoot the dude in the face so she doesn't miss her beat and rhythm. And finally, we have the Vannis Temple, who are just a bunch of Doctor Who Sherlock Holmes wannabes, but instead of solving cases and problems, they just murder people. Most of the deaths are made to look like accidents, with the Vannis assassins being quite far away from the victim at the time. This obviously comes in handy when the Imperium wants someone dead, but they can't just blow their brains out out of fear of backlash. There used to be one more temple called the Maorius Temple, but that shit was so heretical that only one assassin was ever created from it and they turned into a heretic. Basically, they pumped insane amounts of DNA from humans, Tyranids, Xenos, everyone, and naughty science into one person and turned them into a super being, kinda like from the game Prototype. The assassin then went rogue and the Imperium had to deploy a massive amount of firepower, including the Imperial Fists, to bring her down. Nice. A lot of people say that the Astartes, Primarchs, and Custodes are the pinnacle of humanity, that no mortal can hope to ever match them in combat, but to be honest, the Assassins kinda can. 400 Marines took on 100 Assassins, and everyone died. And M'Shen was able to fight off 5 Space Marines before she got wrecked, so it's fair to say they're worth about 5 or 4 Space Marines, which equals about half a Custodian, which equals about 1/20th of a Primarch. There you go. Maths. Bitch. And that does us for today, guys, the lore and story of the Stabby Wabbies from space. If you enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be. Only $1 gives you access to a boatload of Warhammer hentai, and $10 gives you access to the Major Kill hentai calendar. Remember guys as well, the Major Kill minis have indeed launched for both 40k and Fantasy/Age of Sigmar, so if you want to support the channel in that way and also pick up a slick ass mini, then there you go, on the website. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe button for more sneaky content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.